Hey there, friend. Have you ever caught yourself looking in the mirror lately and wondering where all that pep in your step went? Maybe you're feeling a little more creaky in the knees, or the energy you used to have for gardening, chasing grandkids, or even just enjoying a good book seems to be playing hide and seek with you. I get it. Believe me, I do. Turning 75 can feel like crossing some invisible line where your body starts sending you memos saying, hey, we're not 40 anymore. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to settle for feeling like life's slowing down just because the calendar says you've hit a certain number. I've been digging into this myself, not just because I want to feel good, but because I want to... Wait, hold on. Don't worry. I'm not about to bore you with some dry lecture. We're here to talk about something way more exciting. 5 simple supplements that science says can keep you thriving after 75. Not just surviving, thriving. Feeling sharper, stronger, and ready to take on whatever the day throws at you, whether it's a dance class, a walk in the park, or just laughing with the people you love. These aren't magic pills or some late-night infomercial gimmick. These are real, research-backed ways to give your body a little extra love, and I'm so excited to share them with you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Supplements? Really? Aren't those just for gym buffs or folks trying to sell you something? I hear you. I used to roll my eyes at the vitamin aisle too. Felt like a maze of tiny bottles and big promises. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized there's some solid science behind a few of these little helpers, especially as we get older. After 75, our bodies don't always absorb nutrients like they used to, and sometimes we need a boost to keep the engine running smoothly. So in this video, we're going to walk through 5 supplements that can make a real difference. Ones that researchers, doctors, and even some of our spryest friends swear by. Ready to feel like your best self again? Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about something you've probably heard of, but maybe didn't think much about. Vitamin D. Oh, I know. It sounds so basic, right? Like, yep, yeah, I get that from the sun, don't I? Well, here's the thing. As we get older, our skin doesn't soak up sunlight and turn it into vitamin D as well as it used to. Plus, let's be honest, how many of us are lounging outside all day like we did when we were kids? I'm lucky if I get 10 minutes on the porch before the mosquitoes decide I'm their lunch. Studies show that after 75, a lot of us are running low on this sunshine vitamin. And that's a problem because it's a big deal for your bones, your immune system, and even your mood. Think about it. Ever notice how a sunny day just lifts your spirits? That's not just your imagination. Vitamin D helps your body use calcium to keep your bones strong, which is huge when you're trying to avoid those little aches or, heaven forbid, a fall that slows you down. And get this. Researchers have found that folks with good vitamin D levels are less likely to catch every cold that's going around. One study even showed it might lower the risk of things like heart trouble or feeling down in the dumps. I mean, who doesn't want to feel a little sunnier inside and out? So how do you get it? Well, sunshine's great, about 15 to 20 minutes a day if you can swing it. But that's not always enough, especially in the winter or if you're staying out of the heat. Fatty fish like salmon or mackerel have some, but unless you're eating fish every day, and props to you if you are, a supplement might be your best bet. Most experts say 1,000 to 2,000 IU a day is a sweet spot for folks over 75. Just enough to keep you humming without overdoing it. My neighbor Doris started taking it last year, and she swears she's got more spring in her step for her morning walks. She even beat me at bingo last week, and I'm blaming the vitamin D. Now, before you go grabbing a bottle off the shelf, a quick heads up. It's a good idea to chat with your doctor first, especially if you're on meds or have any health quirks. Too much vitamin D can be a bit much for your system, but when you get it right, it's like giving your body a warm, sunny hug. I started taking it myself a few months back, and I'll tell you what, I don't feel like I'm ready to run a marathon, but I'm definitely not napping through my favorite shows anymore. Speaking of keeping the energy up, let's move on to our next supplement. Omega-3 fatty acids. Don't let the name scare you off. It's just a fancy way of saying good fats that come from stuff like fish oil. You've probably heard about these from someone bragging about their salmon dinners or those little gel caps that smell faintly of the sea. And yeah, they're not wrong to brag. Omega-3s are a powerhouse for your heart, your brain, and even those stiff joints that like to remind you they're there. Here's why they're such a big deal after 75. As we age, our hearts and brains need all the TLC they can get. Omega-3s help keep your blood flowing smoothly, which is great for your ticker. Studies show they can lower triglycerides, that's the fatty stuff in your blood, and even ease up inflammation. Inflammation's like that annoying houseguest who overstays their welcome, quietly making everything ache a little more. And your brain? Oh, it loves this stuff. There's research linking omega-3s to sharper memory and less of that foggy feeling we sometimes get. One study found that older folks with higher omega-3 levels did better on memory tests. Makes me wonder if I should have started this sooner before I forgot where I parked my car last week. You can get omega-3s from eating fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel a couple times a week. Grill it up with some lemon and you've got a meal that's good for you and tastes like a treat. But if fish isn't your thing, or you're like me and can't cook it without setting off the smoke alarm, a supplement's an easy fix. Look for one with about 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA. That's the good stuff inside the omega-3s. My buddy Frank, who's 78 and still line dancing every Friday, swears by his fish oil, says it keeps his knees from creaking louder than the dance floor. I tried it too, and I've got to say, I'm not wincing as much when I get up from the couch. One little tip though, take it with food unless you want a fishy aftertaste sneaking up on you later. And just like with vitamin D, a quick chat with your doc can make sure it plays nice with anything else you're taking. But once you've got it sorted, it's like oiling up the gears in an old bike. Everything just moves a little smoother. Now that we've got your sunshine and your good fats covered, let's keep this momentum going and talk about something that might surprise you. A little mineral that's been hiding in plain sight all along. Magnesium. Now I'll admit, when I first heard about this one, I thought, magnesium? Isn't that just something in the dirt or those fizzy tablets my aunt used to take for her stomach? Turns out it's so much more than that. It's like the unsung hero of your body, quietly keeping things running smoothly. And after 75, when your energy's dipping or your muscles are staging a protest every time you climb the stairs, magnesium might just be the friend you didn't know you needed. So what's the big deal? Well, this little mineral is involved in over 300 processes in your body. Everything from helping your heart beat steady to keeping your muscles from cramping up like they're auditioning for a Charlie horse convention. I don't know about you, but I've had those middle-of-the-night leg cramps that make me wonder if my calf's trying to run away without me. Research shows that as we get older, we're more likely to come up short on magnesium, partly because our bodies don't hold on to it as well, and partly because some of the foods we eat might not be packing as much as they used to. Low levels can leave you feeling tired, restless, or even a little jittery. And who's got time for that when there's a whole day to enjoy? The good news is, magnesium's easy to bring into your life. You can find it in foods like spinach, almonds, or dark chocolate. Yes, I said chocolate, so don't say I never gave you a reason to treat yourself. But if you're not munching on those every day, and I'll confess my spinach game could use some work, a supplement can pick up the slack. Most folks over 75 do well with about 300 to 400 milligrams a day, enough to keep things humming without turning your stomach into a science experiment. My friend Betty, who's 80 and still tending her rose garden like it's the Royal Palace, started taking magnesium a while back. She says her legs don't wake her up at night anymore, and she's got more zip for pruning those bushes. I gave it a try myself, and I've got to say, I'm not hobbling around as much after my evening stroll. One thing to keep in mind though, there are different kinds of magnesium out there, like citrate or oxide, and some are gentler on your tummy than others. I learned that the hard way when I picked up the wrong bottle and spent a day a little too close to the bathroom. A quick chat with your doctor can steer you to the right one, especially if you're on meds that might not play nice with it. But once you've got it dialed in, it's like giving your body a quiet little tune-up. Nothing flashy, just steady and strong. And speaking of keeping things strong, let's talk about something that's a bit of a tongue twister, but worth every syllable. Coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10 for short, because I'm not here to make you trip over your words. This one's a real gem, especially after 75. when your energy reserves sometimes feel like they're running on fumes. I first stumbled across CoQ10 when my nephew, who's into all this health stuff, started raving about it. I thought, oh, here we go. Another trendy thing I'll forget about by next week. But then I looked into it, and wow, was I wrong? This stuff's got some serious science behind it. Here's the scoop. CoQ10 is something your body makes naturally, and it's like the spark plug in your cells, helping them churn out energy. It's also a champ at fighting off those pesky free radicals. You know, the little troublemakers that bounce around causing wear and tear on your system. Trouble is, after 75, your body's not cranking out as much CoQ10 as it used to, and that can leave you feeling like you're stuck in first gear. Studies show it's a big player for your heart too. Folks taking CoQ10 have seen better energy, less fatigue, and even a happier ticker. One researcher called it rocket fuel for your mitochondria, which sounds fancy, but really it just means it keeps your cells buzzing along. You can get a little CoQ10 from foods like beef, sardines, or spinach, but it's not a ton. Your body's mostly on its own to make it. That's where a supplement comes in handy. Most people over 75 do great with 100 to 200 milligrams a day, and it's one of those things you might not notice right away. It's more like a slow build, where one day you realize you're not dragging as much. My pal George, who's 77 and still tinkering with his old Chevy, started taking it last year. He says he's got more oomph for turning wrenches, and he's not panting like he used to when he climbs under the hood. I've been on it a few months myself, and I'll tell you, I'm not ready to bench press anything, but I'm keeping up with the grandkids a little better. Now, CoQ10's pretty easy going. It usually comes in soft gels, and taking it with a meal helps your body soak it up. If you're on statins for cholesterol, though, you might want to mention it to your doctor, since those meds can lower your CoQ10 levels even more. But when you get it right, it's like flipping the switch back on for your get up and go. With magnesium keeping you steady and CoQ10 giving your cells a boost, you're already building a solid foundation to thrive. And we've still got one more supplement up our sleeve that's all about keeping your mind as sharp as your spirit: vitamin B12. Now, I'll be honest, when I first heard about B12, I pictured those energy drinks the young folks chug down at the gym. And I thought, that's not for me. I'm not trying to bounce off the walls. But here's the thing. This little vitamin isn't about turning you into a caffeinated whirlwind. It's more like a steady hand on the wheel, keeping your brain and nerves firing on all cylinders, is especially after 75 when things can start to feel a bit fuzzy around the edges. So why does B12 matter so much? Well, it's a key player in making red blood cells, which carry oxygen all over your body, including up to that brilliant mind of yours. It also helps keep your nerves healthy, so you're not dealing with that tingly, pins and needles feeling that sneaks up sometimes. The catch? As we get older, our stomachs don't always break down B12 from food as well as they used to. Something about less acid or enzymes. But I'll spare you the biology lesson. Studies say a lot of folks over 75 are running low on it, and that can leave you feeling worn out, forgetful, or even a little blue. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not spend my days trying to remember where I left my glasses when they're right on my head. You can find B12 in things like eggs, meat, and dairy. Good old scrambled eggs with a slice of cheese are a favorite of mine. But if your body's not soaking it up like it should, food alone might not cut it. That's where a supplement steps in. Most folks do well with about 500 to 1,000 micrograms a day, and it comes in all sorts of forms: pills, drops, even those little tablets that melt under your tongue. My cousin Edna, who's 79 and still beating everyone at Bridge Club, swears by her B12 shots. She says it's like someone turned the lights back on in her head. I went the pill route myself, and I've got to say, I'm not misplacing my keys quite as often. Plus, I've got a little more spark for crossword puzzles, which is saying something since those clues can be sneaky. One small tip, B12's pretty friendly, but if you've got any tummy troubles or you're on certain meds, a quick word with your doctor can make sure you're getting the most out of it. When it clicks, though, it's like giving your brain a gentle nudge to say, hey, we've still got plenty of good days ahead. Now, as we've been chatting about these 5 little helpers, vitamin D, omega-3s, magnesium, CoQ10, and B12. I hope you're starting to see how they all fit together like pieces of a puzzle. It's not about chasing some fountain of youth or trying to turn back the clock to your 30s. Goodness, I don't think I'd want to deal with all that hustle again anyway. It's about giving your body what it needs to keep you feeling strong, sharp, and ready to enjoy whatever's on your plate, whether that's a quiet morning with a cup of tea or a big family gathering where you're the star of the show. I've seen it in my own life, and I hear it from friends all the time. Small changes like these can add up in ways you don't expect. Maybe it's waking up without that groggy haze, or keeping up with a conversation without losing the thread, or just feeling like you've got a little more in the tank for the things you love. That's what thriving looks like after 75. Not perfection, but a life that feels full and yours to live on your terms. So what do you think? Have you tried any of these supplements yourself, or is there one you're curious about? I'd love to hear your stories. Drop them in the comments below because we're all in this together, figuring out what works and swapping tips like neighbors over the fence. And if you've enjoyed this chat, give the video a little thumbs up. It helps more folks like us find it. Oh, and hit that subscribe button too. I've got more ideas coming your way to keep us all feeling our best. Here's to you, my friend, to living your brightest, boldest life, no matter what the calendar says. You've got this, and I'll see you next time with more ways to keep thriving.